WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Mother Nature at it again. More rain and the threat of severe weather in the forecast tonight.
That's right. For the very latest, we're going to turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson with a first look at tonight's weather. Keith.
Good news, guys. We have no active warnings in our area right now. We have some spooky clouds, though. Look at this. Not too long ago near Vernon, Jonathan sends us that via Twitter. You can see the lowering the dark clouds and also down towards Louisville. Sean sends us this from our WCBI News app. You can see the fast-moving spooky clouds. And let's actually go down to Louisville, Mississippi, where we've had some very heavy downpours recently, and it's still a bit murky out there. Wet weather continues across our region. So as I mentioned, we have no active warnings right now. We do have some pockets of some very heavy rainfall, one of which is just leaving downtown Louisville. We have another batch of heavy rain just east of Starkville near Oktok. And we've had batches of heavier downpours now moving out towards the Air Force Base in Caledonia and over here into parts of Lamar County. These are not warned for anything, but heavy downpours are out there. We just don't want to have any more rain after the rain that we've had. Going back to the west of the Trace, we have some areas of steady rain with some embedded thunder and lightning out there as well. And all of this is gradually going to be moving from west to east across our area this evening. The strongest storms right now lifting away into north central parts of Alabama. But I mentioned we don't need any more rain. We have ongoing flooding out there. Let's go to meteorologist Jacob Dickey to report on some flooding we have going in the Columbus area.
Hey Keith, we are out on Wilkins Wise Road at the entrance of the Stennis Lock and Dam. The gates are closed out here. As we look out there, you can see the signs are pulled off in there. That's what the reflections are. And the roadway leading to it is covered in water. There's water rushing from north on the Columbus Lake down to the south, and that is coming into parts of Nash Road as well as Waverly Ferry Road right here. The entrance to the Tom Bigby RV Park, it is blocked off. The folks are back in Nash Road. The water isn't covering the whole road, but folks aren't able to get in and out. Of course, we're going to keep you updated here as the flooding continues. Reporting in West Columbus, I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. Back to you.
Thanks, Jacob. Water in the Oktamaha County Lake has dropped about a foot, but concern is still rising with more rain in the forecast. Emergency management says an upgrade to a warning status is possible as water makes its way through creeks and streams that feed into the lake. The concern is that the lake level will rise. People living in the area are encouraged to have an evacuation plan. A shelter remains open at the First Baptist Church Outreach Center in Starkville.
Meanwhile, a downhill slide is also raising concerns in Starkville. The slide is behind the Oktamaha County Sheriff's Department. Emergency management says a slide started after a flooding event in April. Each time a storm rolls into Starkville, the slide is getting worse. About 4 feet of dirt went downhill this week. There has been some sandbagging efforts, and emergency crews are keeping a close eye on the area.
And the search for higher ground carries over there into Clay County.
People who live along Highway 50 near the Tom Bigby River Bridge evacuate after floodwaters threaten to invade their homes. Our Cash Matlock talked to a couple today who says they have to pack up their belongings almost every year. He joins us in the studio with their story.
Retreat, rebuild, repeat. It's a never-ending cycle for those in the River Chase Drive community. Rising river water is a way of life. They know when to hold them and when to fold them, or in this case, when to pack up and head for higher ground.
Todd Sanders has lived in this house for more than 30 years. He's no stranger to rising river water.
We skied on Highway 50 in the 70s.
He says flooding reached a record high during February of last year.
It got 4 feet higher than what it is now last year, so it went in the house about 18 inches. So
the mud was everywhere in there. Of course, so then you had to go back and clean all that up after it was over with. We're hoping and praying it don't come in this time.
That cleanup came at a price.
Probably $10,000.
And that wasn't the only surprise.
When we opened the door and went to cleaning everything, when they went to cleaning everything out, there was a fish in the house.
Rhonda Smith also lives here. If things get worse, the couple says they have a plan of action.
Okay, as you can see, we've got everything up on the blocks. This year, luckily, we've gotten prepared a little better. So we've got the furniture up on blocks, the bed up on blocks, the refrigerator up on blocks. Everything's on top of the bed, the couch, the tables.
And no good plan is complete without the perfect getaway car.
Yep, that's what we use to go to highway and back.
we're keeping our fingers crossed that the water don't come in and we can come back after the river cresses. But if it comes in, we'll be misplaced for about a week or so.
The couple says they are currently staying in a hotel and they're checking on their house every day.
On the Lowndes County side of the waterway, several roads are closed as floodwaters continue to rise. Many of the roads are just off Highway 373, such as Stinson Creek and Barton Ferry roads. The Corps of Engineers has shut down Dwayne Hayes Campground. EMA Director Cindy Lawrence says these areas are closed until further notice. Lawrence Bridge, Duncan, Grady, Hogan, Frisco, Alomar, and Hodges Shelton roads are also closed to traffic, along with Gatlin. And as you saw earlier from Jacob's video, Wilkins Wise and Nash roads right there closed at Waverly Ferry. Others could be added as rain falls tonight.
The body found in a Lee County lake this week is identified as former Mississippi State football player P.J. Jones. Lee County Coroner Carolyn Green says they were able to make the identity from fingerprints. This was Monday afternoon when his body was discovered in a lake in the Indian Hills subdivision. Lee County Sheriff Jim Johnson says it does not appear foul play is involved. The state crime lab is still investigating to look for a cause of death.
Baldwin police charge a Belmont woman with capital murder in the death of a Baldwin woman. Shawnee Young was arrested Tuesday afternoon. Baldwin Police Chief Mr. Agnew says Pamela Jean Britt's employer was worried when she didn't return to work after lunch. The employer went to Britt's home on East Clayton Street and spotted Young. Officers responding to the home arrested Young and found Britt dead in the garage. Agnew is not saying how Britt was killed. Bond has not been set for Young.
Tupelo police are planning increased patrols and other measures, they say, to get guns out of the hands of criminals.
WCBI's Allie Martin has more on the steps that are being taken in the wake of the fatal shooting of a teenager late last month.
The shooting death of 17-year-old Tierra Dancer shocked the entire city of Tupelo. Dancer was a bystander in a large group of young people watching a fight in the Haven Acres neighborhood when shots rang out. Dancer was struck by a bullet and died on the scene. Police arrested 19-year-old Jacoby O'Neill for that shooting. He is charged with second-degree murder. The senseless crime put the spotlight on gun violence, and police are taking extra steps to get illegal guns off the streets.
We do see that guns fall in some criminal hands through burglaries, through different areas as such, but at the same time it's very important to suppress gun possession as well as suppress those kind of things that is occurring with criminals.
Extra patrols, safety checkpoints, and other measures will take place throughout the entire city and not in one or two isolated areas.
The public will see increased patrols by officers. You will see foot patrols, saturation patrols as well.
Cooperation from the community can also help reduce violent crime. Police say it's important for people to call in tips about any alleged illegal activity or anything unusual they see on social media.
Instagram and Snapchat and different things, we can be helped quite a bit if we're just informed of those things. The public is a key structure in helping with all this. We emphasize that you call the police when you see something that you think might be criminal or just suspicious. If we don't know, we can't help you.
Police emphasize the crackdown only targets those who cannot legally possess firearms, such as convicted felons or minors. The crackdown, police say, does not impact law-abiding citizens exercising their Second Amendment right. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Neighborhoods throughout Tupelo are holding regular meetings to address gun violence and develop strategies to combat the problem.
An energy company is looking forward to a bright future in the Golden Triangle.
And developers are hoping it will energize the area. The story next.
Welcome back. A solar power company celebrates its agreement with TVA and a move to Lowndes County. The deal with the Tennessee Valley Authority allows Origis Energy to move forward with its solar facility. The solar plant will generate and store 200 megawatts of electricity that will be sent to TVA. The plant will be on 2,000 acres near Charlie Ford Jr. Drive, that is. About 650,000 solar panels will generate the electricity.
Not only will they have the largest solar facility in the state of Mississippi, it will also be the case that that will attract new businesses, as a lot of Fortune 500 and other companies, industrial companies, they are interested in sustainability and are more and more interested in green energy.
They went over the timeline of how long it would take to do the environmentals, construction, and actual production of power. And we look at it as a benefit because many Fortune 500 companies now are wanting renewable power. They're wanting new to the world power.
And the facility should be fully functional in late 2022.
East Mississippi Community College and Mississippi State University team up to help career technical students further their education. The two schools signed a memorandum of understanding allowing those students to transfer credits from EMCC to MSU as part of their new Bachelor of Applied Science program. EMCC President Dr. Scott Alsobrooks says the move can help workers land higher positions.
You know, I think about someone that might have got a technical degree and maybe working at one of our high-end manufacturers here in the Golden Triangle, maybe at PACCAR, maybe at the steel mill, maybe at Yokohama, and they have 4 or 5 years experience and they think, you know, I could be a manager, I could be a supervisor, but I need that next credential. Well, they can enroll in Mississippi State now and transfer all of their AAS work into this BAS pathway.
The Bachelor's of Applied Science program is one of the newest majors at MSU. All right, Keith, well, the storms are rolling through, but thankfully not packing a punch like they could have.
That's right. We still have some good downpours out there, some gusty breezes. You know, Jacob was out there talking about the flooding earlier, but not too long ago, he was tracking this ominous-looking outflow boundary out by Starkville. We've had a lot of those scenes today. The severe thunderstorm watch continues for West Alabama until midnight. No warnings in our area right now, and the overall severe weather threat is winding down, but we still have rain. We'll talk about it next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Great to see you on this Wednesday evening. More storms in the area, more heavy downpours. I do want to talk about the Tenn-Tom in the Stennis-Locken Dam area. It's up to 163 currently. Extensive flooding ongoing around the Columbus area. This may be the peak here because we do suspect there will be a very nice descent as we go throughout the next 24 hours, and by the weekend and beyond, things will be much improved once we get this big surge of water to flow down to the Gulf of Mexico. But right now, it is very wet across the region. A live view at Durham's Pharmacy in Vernon, where we just had a pretty good downpour move on through. It's wet out there right now as we check things out at Durham's Pharmacy in Vernon. Let's come back to Columbus and talk about our current temperature here in the friendly city. I think we are sitting in the low 60s, 63, low clouds, some showers around. We topped out at 72 degrees today, so the forecast verified. We got that surge of warm, humid air. We're getting the showers and storms right now. Pockets of heavier rain from Winston County, another one moving down towards Crawford. We've had these moving on through the Columbus area, another one coming right on in. Speaking of Vernon and Lamar County, one big downpour just leaving. The strongest storms by far across north central Alabama. And then we go back to the west of the Trace, and we have a steady rain band here, setting up from Winona to Eupora, back up towards Pontotoc and Tupelo. Heavy downpours, steady rain, thunder, and lightning embedded within that. No severe weather. We picked up anywhere from nothing to over an inch, maybe an inch and a half with the rain over the last 6 hours. And also the strongest storms we just mentioned are cruising up here north of Huntsville, right along the Alabama-Tennessee border. And I think the strongest activity now is really bypassing our area. So we will continue to watch the storms that are out there in the showers. But I think the strongest activity by far, at least according to radar trends, in north central Alabama and parts of Tennessee. Another half inch to maybe an inch and a half here as we go throughout the course of the night. So that will just add insult to injury with the flooding situation. Down into the 50s behind the storms, out ahead of it still in the 60s, the low 70s. So later this evening, the storms are done. We're cooling down into the 50s and 40s. When you wake up in the morning, we should be cloudy, breezy, and cool. Temperatures in the 40s. A lot of us will stay in the 40s all day long. By mid to late afternoon, we'll start to thin out those clouds, and temperatures will get even colder tomorrow night. Look at these numbers by Friday morning. Low to mid to upper 20s here. The wind chill even colder than that. Friday sunny, and temperatures struggling to get into the 40s here, it looks like, with a north wind. Speaking of the wind chill Friday morning, teens and 20s when you wake up Friday. It is going to be a chilly one. Here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. So winter is coming on back. It is still February. It is still winter. And we have winter-like temperatures here through Friday, but at least we are dry as baseball begins. Mostly sunny Saturday, lighter wind 57, a little bit warmer. Can't rule out a few showers Sunday, 62. Then we'll have a few more showers around here Monday, 68. Rain and thunder, 72 Tuesday. And then we're back into the 40s next Wednesday.
Holka is home of one of the best scorers in the state of Mississippi. We hit the hardwood with our Athlete of the Week next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The Holka Wildcats have more than doubled its win total from a year ago. A big reason behind that being senior Deshaun Berry. Berry has been a man amongst boys this season. Whether it comes to scoring the rock or collecting the boards, he can do it all. Our Chris Bolton goes one-on-one with our Athlete of the Week.
Holka point guard Deshaun Berry is a certified baller.
We have a rule that he must touch the ball every possession. And that doesn't mean he has to shoot at each possession, but he needs to touch it.
This season, the senior Wildcat is averaging a staggering 33 points and 11 rebounds a game. While Berry might be the one taking the shots, he says it's his fellow Wildcats who help him shine.
I learned how to shoot better, so then I learned how my teammates move, where they want the ball, when they want the ball, and I just use them to help me out.
According to Holka head coach Seth Burt, Berry might as well live in the gym. That's how often you can find him in there, practicing and perfecting his game. Of course, practice makes perfect. However, the Wildcat scoring leader does what a lot of basketball greats have done throughout the years: draw inspiration from the best players that came before. Berry credits former teammate and Itawamba Community College standout Madarius Hobson for his play.
I learned a lot from him. Just watch him, how he carried himself in practice. I try to be just like him and take it on the court and play just like him.
Over 2,500 career points later, Berry says it was Hobson who inspired him to be such an offensive threat.
When I was about 7th grade, 8th grade, and you hear about Madarius scoring all these points, I was like, I want to try it. And, God let it happen.
It's safe to say the man who had the greatest impact on Berry's game is the late, great Jimmy Guy McDonald.
When I was maybe 6th grade, 7th grade, he used to let me practice with the high schoolers when I was younger, and I just knew he was just a great person. No matter what nobody said about him, he was just a great person.
He had talked to me about Deshaun, from the time he was in the 7th grade. Just couldn't wait to get him up there in high school, and he coached Deshaun hard. He did, and I think that he saw the same things that we all saw in him. He knew he had a chance to be special.
As Berry leads Holka into the playoffs, he keeps in mind the words his former coach told him.
He always told me no matter what, wherever I go, he always gonna be with me, no matter what. NBA, college, whatever. He said he always gonna be with me, right beside me.
Berry takes everything he's learned to the hardwood Thursday as Holka opens up district tournament play against Okolona. Reporting from Holka, Chris Bolton, WCBI Sports.
Left for dead 2 weeks ago, sitting at 1-7 in conference play, there's new life to Ole Miss men's hoops. Rebels steamrolling through a double-digit deficit to dominate Mississippi State, the 25-point win being the 5th largest for Ole Miss in the series' history. It also marked the 3rd straight win for the Rebels, and Kermit Davis's message of winning February off to a good start. Davis says his team is still fighting for the postseason, and anything is possible when you play in the SEC.
In the SEC, you're never out of it if you've got 10 or 12 games to go, because there's so many great opportunities of quadrant 1, quadrant 2 wins. And so it's just where it is. And so, yeah, I mean, we got a long way to go, but obviously tough, but what a great opportunity on Saturday.
We're trying to still play in this postseason, and, a lot of people counting us out, and we're the only ones counting us in. So we just got to play hard, play together, and I think we'll wake a lot of people up as we keep going.
And just a quick update on that as well. Mississippi State baseball opener moved to 1 p.m. on Friday due to some chilly temps that are in the forecast, so baseball changing up as well.
All right.
Wear your gloves to the game.
That's it.
Exactly. We'll hear more about that next. Stay with us.
WCBI Sports Player of the Week is brought to you by C-Spire and Canon. Nobody had a better game than this Player of the Week, and nobody beats a Canon deal. Nobody.
Good news here, the severe weather threat is winding down for our area. Bad news, we still have areas of heavy rain. We have ongoing flooding, another ½ inch to maybe 2 inches of rain this evening and tonight. So flooding will be a problem here, but once the rain goes away later tonight, we'll dry it out and cool things down. Baseball begins Friday, Tom. You mentioned that game at 1 o'clock. We are in the 40s.
Big jacket.
But it will be sunny.
It's tradition. Opening baseball is going to be cold.
That's true. All right, good night, everybody.